In 90 days, she collected $40,000 cash and gained 10,000 new followers, helping realtors scale their businesses on Instagram. In this interview, we break down how to actually launch a high ticket offer and what it was like bringing a genius idea to a digital product, and even better, doing it at scale. At the end, Aaliyah gives her raw advice on how you can get started growing and scaling your own high ticket offer in the next 90 days. So let's dive in. All right, Aaliyah, I'm personally excited to get into this interview with you today because I vividly remember when we had our enrollment call for CCA, and we were just talking about all the things. And I remember just talking to you and being like, you have something so good. Let's make it great. Like, you weren't in a spot where you were like, I really need to change something, because you were like cruising by. But you got to this point where you were like, I am so ready to create a high ticket offer and make this thing even bigger than it could be. So, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, what your niche is, and what you sell?
Sure. So I am so happy you mentioned that because I really enjoyed our intro call, and I'm sure we'll get to this, but I was one of those people who literally I found you and I signed up for CCA in like a day. So it's funny that we had like such a great call. It was all because of that. But who I am, so my name's Aaliyah, and I am a real estate agent by trade and now an online business coach as well. So I do both. And I'm currently in the process of transitioning from full-time agent into hopefully full-time online business coach for real estate agents. I started my career in real estate in 2019 when I was 21 and had an amazing career my first 4 years. Really kind of knocked it out of the park. I won't get into the details of that because we're here to talk about online business, but it was the success that I had in those first 4 years that led me last year in 2023 to decide to launch an online business where I actually took everything that I learned and I'm now coaching and teaching other agents. So I've been in business now with my coaching business since January 1st of 2024. Currently, for anyone listening, as we're recording this, it's mid-October. So we're about 10 months in. And I came into this business with the intention of it being successful, of scaling it and growing it. It has exceeded even those expectations. And I'm at the point now where I offer anything from one-on-one coaching to low ticket master classes to mid ticket courses. And then through the help of Julia and CCA, I just launched my first high ticket done with you program. So that's where I'm at in my business.
I love it, Aaliyah. And one thing that we were talking about specifically, guys, before we got on the recording was around how you initially knew that you wanted to create a high ticket offer. So I would love to hear your insights. Maybe if we could go back a few months when you signed up for the call with me and you were like, I want to create a high ticket offer. Where did that desire come from?
Yeah. So when I started my business a little under a year ago, I was really nervous about launching a high ticket offer off the bat, right? I had never done coaching before. I had experience and credibility in the industry, but thinking about charging 1,000 plus $2,000 for my services just felt so it didn't feel right to me at the time. So I started my business by launching mid-ticket courses that were kind of laid back, right? Like I pre-recorded everything, launched it, put them on Evergreen, and really was focusing on growing a community. So flash forward a few months, and I believe I had made just about 40 or $50,000 in revenue by the time I joined CCA in July. I knew that I had a proven method. My Instagram community had grown from zero to about 35, 40,000. Like I said, I had made some good revenue. And so I knew that what I was doing and the intentions I had set for this business were working. And it was just, what is that next step to go to the next level, right? At that time, I think I had about 300 students enrolled in my paid offers. I had tons of testimonials coming in. People were getting results from my strategies. And so I knew, okay, I've got a warm audience. I've got the credibility now to prove it. I really want to take this to the next level. And for me, that meant high ticket. Why high ticket? Really, I wanted to be able to, add more value. I have so much to give. So I think that was the first thing is I wanted to get more hands-on with my students. And then also, of course, I would rather be putting more work in to make those higher ticket sales than constantly having to worry about high volume. So that's kind of the difference and why I decided to jump in.
I love this because just thinking about your success, right? You've done, we talked about it, about $40,000 in cash in 90 days with CCA. You just also said, oh, but that took me 6, 7 months. And then you collapse that timeline to do that in 3 months, 90 days. So, like what you did in 7 months, you were now able to do in 3 months with CCA and a brand new offer, a high ticket offer, which, as you and I both know, I hate using the word easier, but it's a higher profit, it's a better model, and you get better clients because people actually want to invest in themselves and put a lot of time and energy and attention. Rather, I have like a $97 thing, and most of the people that buy it don't even open it. So it's like one of those things
Definitely, for
where
sure.
you have the high ticket. So can you speak to that a little bit? Like, what was that like earning 40K in 90 days working with us? Maybe tell us like the identity stuff, the mindset stuff, but also like, how does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away, honestly. I mean, I think I came into this business knowing I could be successful, and I'm one of those people similar to you, and like most of the people that are in this program, where I'm super type A and I'm a perfectionist. I'm also an oldest daughter and a Capricorn, and from a big Greek family, so it's like all piling on. But even with that, and like my past track record of success in real estate, I've been blown away by the results from being in CCA, from launching a high ticket offer, and just overall from the strategies you've taught. As for like how that's felt, my mindset, things like that, there's definitely imposter syndrome for sure. And there was a lot of fear. So I launched my high ticket doors open, I guess I should say, on September 16th. And that was a Monday. And I remember on the day before, the 15th, I was sitting at my desk prepping. I had all my emails ready and just thinking, oh my God, no one's going to buy this. Like, I just spent all this money to enroll in CCA. I don't have the right audience, right? Like, all those negative thoughts came. And one of the things I've really had to learn how to do, and I remember we actually talked about this on our call when I first joined, was like a lot of it's mindset and just opening myself up. And so I said, you know what? Even if one person signs up and I get to have the experience of putting together a program like this, the next time two people will sign up. And so I set a goal for 20 people to enroll within a 2-week period, and I ended up having 25. And it's just been awesome. So that has been huge. And I totally agree with what you were saying right before, which is with the higher ticket program, it's definitely a higher caliber of person that you're working with, right? I've got almost 600 students now in my paid offers. And I can tell you out of those 600, the 25 that are in this specific program are like the top of the top. Doesn't mean that they're having these booming real estate businesses, but they're the most committed to getting results. And so therefore they will. And I think that's the same thing that, you see in CCA with, that offer versus a lower ticket.
Hmm.
My lowest ticket offer and the one that, I have a 33, a 97, a 367, they do yield results. And I've had so many great testimonials, but I also have a lot more people that they don't either implement or they don't get the one-on-one support that comes with my high ticket. So they have a lot of questions that just don't get answered. So it's a really amazing thing because you get to make a lot more money with a high ticket offer, but more importantly, you get to support and serve people, which is amazing.
It's kind of like that quality versus quantity. And you do still get to have quantity, like 20, 25 people. That's a lot. Like you'll see, right? When you jump on a Zoom call, you're like, whoa, like we have about that many people in the calls. And it feels like a lot. So I think that's a great realization. I'd love to hear about your specific experience with CCA and what do you think specifically helped you achieve this goal of these 25 high ticket clients, 40K in the 90 days that you were with us among your offers, and really like opening the doors, pushing past that imposter syndrome?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons I was attracted to CCA in the first place, and I'll just put this out there, I was not actively searching for some sort of a program or a coach or a mentor at the time because, like you mentioned, I had kind of figured out a passive system with my low ticket offers that was generating anywhere from like $10,000 to $15,000 a month. But what really attracted me to your program, and that also I think has been super helpful, is your like direct message strategy and the relationship cultivation. That's actually a huge strategy that I teach to my real estate agents, right? I base my entire program, all of my offers, my entire niche is generating business either on social media or with your database and people you know without having to do reels, without having to do these things. It's all about building relationships. And so I saw your content and it was like an aha moment of like, what the heck? Like, I literally teach people how to do this and I'm not actually doing it in my coaching business.
Mm.
And so joining the program, I mean, there's been so many things that have helped me. I mean, the MBO lesson where, you know, we're building our offer out. That was incredible to really give me the framework of what I wanted a high ticket program to look like, right? Because I had no concept of that
Mhm.
before. But most importantly, I think it's the sales and the DM strategy. It's like, how do we take the people that are actively engaging in our communities on Instagram and how do we get them to join a sales call, fill out an application? And you know, my offer is not super high ticket, right? It's anywhere between 1100 and 2200 depending on when you join. So I've been able to sell just directly through the DMs as well. And that's been amazing because it's like you can make 1,000 or 2,000 or $3,000 in a day just by having a really great direct message strategy. So that for me has been the biggest takeaway and the main reason I joined CCA. Everything else is just a bonus.
I love that. And I think that's like the thing people come to us for is like that conversion element where it's like, okay, you could teach me how to build a course, you could teach me how to make reels, but how do I actually convert people? And I think that's the secret sauce because at the end of the day, it's like our sales strategy, our DM strategy. Like, I think the number one thing, if I had to put my money on it, that people ask me is like, do I have to do sales calls? And I always say, no. Like, yeah, we do sales calls. Like, I have a vision of building a sales team. Like, I personally want that and love that. But that doesn't mean all of our clients need to do that. So I'm so happy that you shared that you're making these like high ticket 2K, 1K sales in the DMs because it's totally possible. We're talking about that on one of the group calls as well. Another one of our clients, Melissa, does high ticket in the DMs. Like, it doesn't have to be a call, it has to be a conversion strategy. And I think that's the secret sauce of CCA is like, it's not a rule book. It's like, hey, we have all of these strategies that work. Let's customize an approach for you, your needs, your vision of your company. And I think that's the key. So I guess my next question to you would be, did you have any fears before joining CCA? Like any hesitation? I know you found me quick and then you signed up, but talk the audience through like maybe what was going through your head when you're like, is this really the program for me?
Yeah, so I think I don't know if I'm definitely not the typical buyer, right? Most people I think spend a little bit more time before they enroll in a high ticket program. But I think what for me was my biggest fear or hesitation was actually not with you or with the program. It was with myself. And it was like, am I ready to actually do this for my business? Right. And I think the reason I was able to jump in so quickly was at the time, I had really seen the value that my community was getting from me. I had seen the success. And so my biggest fear was just that I wasn't going to continue to perform. And when I looked back and I really reflected on my past life experiences, not just through business, I was like, anything I've set my mind to, I've exceeded expectations. And I know that's going to be the same for this. So I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear. I mean, I obviously had financial hesitations. I was a pay in full, like out of pocket client. So I'm like, this is a lot of money to be dishing out. But I also knew like, if I can use this investment to further my business, right? And it's like, this was a big investment, but I've way exceeded that with the $40,000 I've made in the time. I actually was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, this was such an amazing decision because I probably would have launched a high ticket offer, but I don't think it would have been as successful if I wasn't in CCA. I wouldn't have had the same sales strategies, the same content strategies. And so, you know, it was worth the investment. So all those fears were kind of smashed once I just said, F it, we're doing it and we're going to make it the best it can be.
I love that mindset. And I think it's just something as business owners, we have to increase our risk tolerance to get to that next level. So like I even know for me, like I recently just invested in a sales training for the company that was about $18,000 like pay in full. And every time I like assess these kind of risks for me, the business investments, I'm like, well, what's the ROI, right? Like most people think near term, oh, well, this is a minus to my bank account. I always go back to like that time when I was in debt and I would literally penny pinch every single thing. Like, oh, I only have a $300 budget this week. If I like go get a coffee at Starbucks, now I only have 295. And what you just said of like not measuring it from the today, but rather measuring it from the future self and being like, what's the ROI is the key here. So I
Yeah.
love that you share that.
Well, and one more thing I'll add, and this is something that I actually did when I first started my business about a year ago. I invested anywhere between like 1,000 and 1,500 into the business before I even launched my Instagram page from zero. Because my mentality, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but for the audience to think about is like when you've got that stake in the game, right? You're more motivated and dedicated to show up and make the most out of it. And
Mhm.
so I knew like it's a huge investment, but I can either not invest this money and then go through the actions halfway and not actually achieve anything, or I can invest in this business and commit to making at least that much back, right? In the beginning of my business, that was my
Mhm.
mentality. And the same thing with CCA. I'm like, I know if I do the right steps, I'm going to at least make this much money back. So that alone is a reason to go and learn and become better. And obviously, I also knew there was a chance that I could be much more successful. And it's only been, I mean, not even a full 90 days yet.
I love it. Well, Aaliyah, this has been so fantastic. And I guess my final question to you is what would you say to somebody that's on the fence right now? Maybe we sent them this interview and we're like, hey, check out this interview with Aaliyah. Maybe they're also a realtor, they're also a business owner, and they're like in that like 95% yes, but that 5%, oh, I just don't know. What would you tell that person right now?
Yeah, I think it is all in your head, right? The only person that's holding you back from the success you know you're capable of is you. To speak for CCA, I mean, what you're paying for, of course, is the program itself, right? The materials. But I think the one on one support that you get from Julia, I mean, literally 3 days a week, we're on calls with her asking questions, and the support you get from the other coaches, that is worth every penny and more. And that's how I've even structured my new high ticket program, right? It's like I'm selling the fact that, yes, they get all this amazing information, but it's the fact that they get to be with me for 10 weeks that's really the value. And I mean, Julia is the living, breathing example of what we all want to be. So why wouldn't want to invest and spend time with her? So I think it's just, getting that out of your mind that you're going to fail and going all in full head first and knowing that the support's there. And if you go through it and you ask for help, there's no way you're going to fail.
I love it, Aaliyah. Thank you so much. And I think that's one more thing I want to add here. And it's like kind of our secret sauce, but we'll just break the fourth wall with the audience is like that element of support and community is really where I see online education and courses going. Like high ticket courses, like gone are the days, like we do a webinar, $2,000 hard pitch at the end, and then like figure it out yourself. With the access to how much information there is out there from video content like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, it's like so difficult to sell just like a video portal anymore because really like where's
Totally.
the value in that when it's
Yeah.
like I could just get it all for free on YouTube. But the thing that is tried and true time over and time over again that we tell our clients and that you just brought up is that element of real people and support and community. Because even though we feel we're getting farther and farther away from like humans and we're going towards like AI and tech and all this stuff, I believe in this industry, like put the coaching back in coaching, put the coaching back in courses.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, that's huge even in my niche. I think especially if you're in a wealth, a business type niche, like your students they probably already know most of the information you teach. It's the accountability that they're looking
Yeah.
for and that support. So I think when you can dive into that, it's huge. And that was an eye opener for me joining the program because I'd never been a part of something with
Mm.
this much support. And it's been so fun. And I had my first two calls with my own group of 25 agents this week. And I mean, it was like almost I was in tears on the call because I was like,
Aw.
this has been so full circle from joining CCA a few months ago and being exposed to this world to now I'm doing it and I'm crushing it. It's like amazing.
I love it. Well, Aaliyah, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your experience, your wisdom. I mean, like, I want to cry right now. I feel
Oh, thanks
so
for having
touched
me.
and honored. So thank you seriously for carving the time out of your day. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so I have two Instagram accounts. So if you are in Ohio or you have any real estate needs, I'll go ahead and plug my business there. Or if you're a real estate agent and want to connect on the real estate world, you can find me on Instagram at living.with.aliyah, ELEA. And my coaching business is at business of underscore real estate. And then I do have a fabulous website that I just got set up, and that is withaliyah.com. And you can check out, my offer suite and things like that because I do have a big focus on mid and low ticket offers as well. And that's been really fun for me.
Awesome, Aaliyah. We'll make sure to link all of that in the description. And once again, thanks so much for being here and congrats on all of your success. We're just going to make it even bigger and bigger from here. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.